Now, actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over sexual harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon. Dixon was in two of Tyler Perry's shows, The Oval and Ruthless. In a statement to NBC News, Perry's team says this appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam, calling the allegations fabricated claims. Let's bring in NBC's Stephen Romo, who's following this. Stephen, what more do we know about the allegations here?
Yeah, Tom, just going through those allegations in this lawsuit seeking $260 million in damages, alleging sexual harassment, assault, retaliation as well. The direct details include inappropriate touching. As you mentioned, Dixon starred in The Oval with Tyler Perry, and we got this statement from inside the complaint. Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look to him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. So you can read from that, implies there are more people who are alleging this than just Dixon. We have a bit of a timeline here for the relationship that we know, the professional relationship between these two men and the allegations made in this complaint, saying that they met in 2019. The lawsuit alleges that then their relationship moved forward with this professional advancement. And in 2019, Perry offering Dixon a small role in Ruthless. And then in January 2020, that is when Dixon accuses Perry of sexually assaulting him in his home. And in the following month, Dixon alleges that Perry offered him a series regular role in The Oval. Now, we do have comment from Tyler Perry's attorneys saying that this individual appears to have been setting Tyler Perry up. They say that they are alleging that this is a scam and saying, quote, Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. Now, we've also reached out to the attorney for Dixon, and he said that these allegations in the lawsuit stand for themselves. So just the very beginning of this process, but a lot of people are paying attention to this. Tyler Perry, quite successful, quite a bit of fame here, Tom.
Yeah, it will get a lot of attention. Stephen Romo, thank you.
Welcome back to another episode of Road to William. Today, I got my cousin Ashley from I Be Ballin' Basketball Show with me, and we're reviewing a film. Will we deem it as a classic 10 years from now? Who knows? Right now, we're about to watch the latest film from Tyler Perry, Straw, and it stars TarajiPHenson, Sherry Shepherd, and Tiana Taylor, amongst some other OGs in the game that we'll discuss later on. But first, Ashley, let them know about your channel, I Be Ballin' Basketball Show, and where to connect with you.
So my basketball show is about the NBA and it's about the WNBA, and I cover different news, trades, free agency, and I also cover NBA 2K, but also do basketball movie reviews and different sports content. So follow me, subscribe at I Be Ballin' Basketball Show, and also you can follow me on different social media platforms like Insta on at Ashley I Be Ballin'. Oh, and join the Facebook group too. It be ballin'.
Cool. Yes, go check out I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. And so today we're reviewing Straw. First, Ashley, what was your first thoughts when you were watching Straw?
Well, I thought she's really going through it. Nothing was going right, the landlord is pissed at her, and it's raining, and yeah. I also thought like the cop threatened to kill her, and the boss, the boss was real mean. customers being mean. No one gave her a break. I thought she needs some help. She needs like a village. Because they say, it takes a child to raise a village, but even the adults. And I thought, like, oh man, the daughter is sick, and that takes money with medicine. But I also was like, I think they're making too big of a deal about this lunch money. Guess, that's why kids can eat for free. And I was like, oh, the teacher making fun of her? I could see if the kids was making fun of the child for free lunch, but the teacher, I was like, oh, that's weird. But some teachers are mean. But just let the girl have free lunch. That's what it's there for. This whole $40, like, just save your money because you gonna need it later for medicine, food. Like, this whole lunch money thing is no free lunch, free.
That lady, her coworker was trying to give her some money at the thing, like, here, this is for whatever. And then Janiyah was like, no, I'm good. And then I was like, but that could have been that 40 real quick you
That
needed.
was her big. Well, that was one of her big mistakes.
Yeah, we're gonna go over some mistakes, some things that could have been handled differently. But yeah, my first thoughts on it was like, um, I was trying not to spoil it for myself, but I'd be on TikTok and somebody was already like saying it wasn't good and what they didn't like, and I was like, I gotta stop it, I gotta stop it. But it was really because of um Tyler Perry's work that people don't like. A lot of people don't like when it comes to the topics he decides to choose and how he continues to do it. They want to see something elevated, something different, something beyond a black woman struggling, a black person struggling, abuse, hardship. I guess they want to see something different, but then it's like, if this is what he's like, well, this is what I do, this is all I'm ever going to do. You got to look to a different person, a different director. There's a bunch of directors and small films, independent films that people are trying to push. So you don't have to support it if you kind of suspect that's what he's going to give. But what do you think about that take? Do you feel like he should stay? Is this his lane he should stay in and he brings out the best of hardships to people? Or should he switch it up and do something different to please the audience that help push him to the
Um, so I have a great take on this. My thing is this. I think some people just want to be critics. If you know you don't like Tyler Perry, then stop watching it. And this is my thing. Do I want him to elevate and do other stuff, other than, a black woman struggling? Absolutely. I want some coming of age stories. I want, you know, to give, you know, the millennials a little something, you know, uh, because my thing is, he's done so many movies and so many, TV shows. It's like you can do something else. But I also feel like if you know your audience and this is what made you a billionaire, you probably gonna stick with it. But I do think he needs to do something different, switch it up, because that's what artists do. You don't just stay in the same lane. Like you can if you want, but you know, you gotta elevate. That's what some of the best, no matter what, sports, music, people elevate. You just don't, you do see some artists stay the same, and it's cool because, their fans like it. But I do want him to switch it up, do something horror, give us some, I think he actually has the power to do anything. And I think that's what makes it bad. It's like you got Amazon in your pocket, Netflix in your pocket. You had a Nickelodeon show, you got BT Plus. You could do so much. And I do think, he kind of does stay in his same lane. And people do want to see something different. But my
Yeah.
thing is, you either like it or you don't.
Right.
And like She the People, She the People.
Hmm.
It's not a good show. It's not a good show.
Oh
But
wow, I haven't seen it yet.
it's not a good show.
Hmm.
But I do think you should watch it at least once. Cause I'm like, man, Terry Bomb, she been waiting for a while for this, so I gotta support her, cause I don't know. And there's so many there's not enough black shows and stuff and movies. So, I try to watch, that it doesn't mean you have to watch every black show or a black movie, but I'm trying to support some stuff, but I do think he
Yeah.
should switch it up. He has to switch it up because who else has his power and his money? You don't really see Spike Lee doing the movies like he used to. John Singleton, rest in peace. He's passed away. You don't see a lot of creators. Oh, you do see Tim Story, I believe his name is. He does a lot
Hmm.
of comedy. You have Will Packer, who does like rom coms, but nobody is as powerful and as rich as Tyler Perry. He can do anything he wants. And I also, why you don't have a protege? You need you got you got a lot of shows, Tyler Perry, and I know he be like paying a lot of these actresses, a lot of the top money, but I also think he should, have a protege here, have a protege there, take him under the wing, but
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you were saying to that. Um, I don't know what it would take. I think, we have Ryan Coogler, Sinners being like this living classic present time we're seeing. And I think that like when I saw that film, I said, oh, we've been watching movies. We ain't been watching film. No. But no, I think it goes up from here. I think as much as people claim they don't listen, I think they do pay attention to people and what they think of the films, whether it's negative or positive, and take that into consideration. And I think, you know, you keep pushing for that, you might see it. He did step outside at one point and did the Alex Cross. And I was like, oh, it's an okay. But he stepped out. That was action thriller outside of the comedy or the drama. You ain't like it.
if you're gonna step out, you gotta do it big. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just do it average and then be like, oh, well, no one liked it, so I'm gonna just go back to my. No, you didn't do
Mm-hmm.
it big. See, Ryan Coogler, you know, with Sinners, like you said, Black Panther, he's doing it big,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I feel like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe collab with someone.
Yeah, I think a collab is definitely should be in the future. But yeah, back to Straw. It also reminded me of John Q. I just did a review for that. Look out for it. That's gonna come out first, and then this will come out after because when I was watching this film, I saw a lot of Straw, kind of a little bit of Set It Off. Um, and what were some moments that stuck out to you that you think should be addressed that people should talk about or take out of that film?
Well, before I watched this, someone did spoil it from me a little bit, not in totally, but a little bit for the ending. But I think this movie was about mental health, but I think it's also about being kind to one another. Cause like everywhere she went, someone was being very mean to her, right? The boss, the customers, the landlord, dropped all her stuff on the street. Her boss was like, I don't care. The check was right there, but he like, yo, I'm sending this in the mail. It's company policy, but he couldn't. He didn't want to be nice. That's like I think it's for anybody, show a little bit of kindness and generosity to others because you never know what a person's going through. But at the same time, it shows some people don't really care what you're going through. So it's not that they don't know. Well, some people don't know what you're going through. So be kind. But it's also some people really just don't care. They just care about their own lives or something bad going at home, so they're gonna take it out at work or whatever. But so I think that was the biggest lesson, but also mental health because I don't know if do you want to spoil it? I don't know. But you know, basically what some of the things that was happening in the movie, it wasn't reality for Janiyah. And that does happen when people have like mental breakdowns and something's too much, because the mind is very powerful. A lot of people still don't know what their brain can really do, and stuff like that, you know. And they say you can only use 10% of your brain, probably because, I don't think people gonna use it for good, but I think everybody needs therapy also. Like everybody need therapy. But also Janiyah need to learn to take help. Her friend, and I'm assuming that's her closest friend, she wanted to help, but so all this pretty much could have been avoided if you if someone helps you, you know, tries to help you, accept the help. You don't have to be like, no. Some people do want to do it themselves. Some people want help, but they want to do it themselves. But all this could have been avoided. But also, I'm like Janiyah. Everybody was on your side. They was like, free Janiyah. I think she could have actually got free. But her biggest mistake was shooting her boss. Because she did kill the robber, but that's because, that's self defense. And you can say, I'm temporarily insane, because some people do claim, oh, my client was, temporarily, they call it temporarily insanity, right? That, you could have said that, but when you killed the boss, that was like, man, I don't know how many years you're gonna get for that. I don't know. That was her biggest mistake, but also, not accepting help. But I think it was mostly about mental health and therapy, but it was also like we do need to be more nice because you never know what someone's going through. But it definitely has some black elements to it about the cops because I like Sherry Shepherd's character. She didn't want to leave Janiyah alone because if she was alone, they would have sprayed. So it was nice that Sherry Shepherd's character um was really nice because they knew her from, going into the bank. And Tiana Taylor's character, I did like that because you do have, it was like a good cop, bad cop sort of thing. Like Tiana Taylor's character was like uh Raymond. I feel like she was in Janiyah's shoes before, but she, made it out into, being an officer. So if it wasn't for Raymond and Sherry Shepherd's character, Nicole, I think that really helped her. And that's sort of like what Janiyah needs, is a village around her too. But yeah.
I also saw, yeah, Janiyah's boss Richard, played by Glenn Turman. Um, I mean, when I was watching the film, I was like, I was like, what's the problem? Because he was getting a little aggressive. I don't know, I got scared. Shit. I don't know, they could work around that, but um, yeah, Tiana Taylor. I think this was her first film of like doing a kind of intense thriller role, because we seen her in 1001. That was dope. That seemed the most natural to her. I feel like watching it when I was watching it, because I feel like the characters just blended. And so this one, I feel like maybe she was nervous, but her character was a negotiator. And so it's like you gotta be a little bit more intense. So I don't know. I there was another goat there, Chief Wilson, played by Rockman Dunbar. Seen him in a bunch of things. Um, he was very laid back and like, okay, do your thing, which I think he was a little bit too yes, yes. Cause I'm like, usually I don't know if Chiefs be that yesy yesy. You know what I mean? Like, this is a very intense case. Yes, they think she has a and then you putting someone brand new on this case. But I
Oh
mean,
my.
but that's what I was
I,
like, that's a little
stuff to
too.
talk about later about that bomb.
So, because first off, they still thought it was a bomb, even when she picked and turned it off and it went off again, and they still were like, "Oh, it's a bomb." And I'm like, I think like the first time I thought y'all got it that it wasn't. So maybe it wasn't made clear enough that it was already a toy, you know what I mean? But also Tessa got on my nerves, and the only reason I know her name is because it's just like other people are talking about her. Tessa behind the counter got on my nerves.
Oh, the Alicia Keys look-alike. Yeah, she got on my nerves.
Give me your take on some things that you didn't like or you thought was missing and you couldn't connect it.
Well, the bomb, like, if you were really scared of the bomb, you wouldn't have waited to the very last moment in the film to say, oh, that wasn't a bomb. It was multiple times where you should have tell her, like, oh, is that a bomb? Be curious. But the girl got on my nerves. Tessa, just give her what she asked for. She didn't ask for all that money. She asked for $500 something dollars. Give her check. That's all she wanted. And my thing is this: she was like, I'm scared, I'm scared. But then when she was, when they all was sitting down, she had the nerve to just talk, all that smack. Oh, so now you're not scared. Behind the counter, you was scared, like, now you talking smack. And I need to go to the bathroom and let me write some stuff down now. She got on my nerves because she was getting slick at the mouth. Oh, why we gotta stay here? Why we gotta be here? Oh, now you got some nerve. But before it was like, and then so Taji P character, I'm not gonna lie. There was some parts where she was like, "Why is everyone screaming?" But she was screaming, and I was like, "Everybody's screaming," and I was like, "Taji, you need to put the gun away because I think the waving the gun is what making people scared." But I think her mind wasn't there. She's like, "Why is everyone screaming?" But she was screaming too, and you waving the gun. But I think, her mind wasn't there. I think they called it, disassociation or disillusionment, because of her daughter. But also, we don't really know everything about Gianna's character. Did she have multiple jobs? Was that her only job? And she also was like, her mom and her sister is crazy. I feel like that could have been part of her village too. But we don't really know how they interacted. So that was some questions, but also there was this part where I was like, is it daytime or nighttime? In the bank, it looked like it was morning time. But when it was outside, it was like nighttime. So I got a little confused.
Mhm.
But a lot of people are saying Taraji P. Henson, she did her thing
Yeah.
and she deserved the Oscar, and people are saying this is his best work ever. I don't think this is Tyler Perry's best work. I think it's his best work in a long time. I would say
Mm.
that
What would
because
you consider his best work?
his early stuff, like
Mm.
the early Medeas, and
Mm.
also Why Did I Get Married?
Oh
But even
yes.
even Medea's Booze was good.
Oh yeah, those
Medea's
are funny. I'm waiting for
Medea's
a
Family
Medea Boo
Reunion.
3. Oh yeah, that's another one coming out. It's a new one coming out. I don't know when though. Is it coming out July or something or August?
Oh, I meant Medea's Family Reunion, but yeah, it's a new one called Medea's they someone's getting married
Oh
and they're
yeah.
going to the Bahamas. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
Medea's vacation wedding or something.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
hopefully that's good.
Taraji and Rockman played together in the um the
The
family
Family
that
That Prays.
prays.
That's another good one.
Yeah,
See,
that was a
Tyler
good.
Perry, your early stuff was the bomb. The stuff you doing. So the last movie I watched was on Amazon, Duplicity. That was
Mm.
boring and
Oh.
it was a dead giveaway.
Mm.
And then that Coopla, the May Coopla with
Oh, with
Kelly
Kelly.
Rowland, that wasn't his best work. Sorry. The Megan Good one, that wasn't his best work. So
Mm.
I mean best work in a long time.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Not
Yeah.
his best work ever though.
Right.
But
I think
some
this
people
is. Oh, go
oh
ahead. What'd you say?
some people say like the writing was bad and Taraji P.
Mm.
Henson saved the movie. What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, Taraji. Anywhere you put her, she gonna do it. She's gonna kill it. She was also in Acrimony, which I feel like that wasn't a good film. That
Yeah,
shouldn't
that
have came
wasn't the
out.
best.
I didn't like that. I've never seen the one where I forgot what it's called, but it was like
The 6888.
I haven't seen that either yet. But it was something I forgot. I gotta find it. But she did one more with him too.
Oh, I know. It's the that was good too. I could do better all by myself.
No, not that one. Not that one.
Oh,
It's kind of like off land. It didn't get as much promo, I feel like.
oh, it's another one. Wow. Hmm.
But um I think so that's why I think about that. I think no matter where you put her, she gonna kill it. But I think Sherry Shepherd, this was her first serious role, her first drama role, because we've seen her in comedy, stand-ups, and she has her show, and that's highly focused on like comedic timing. And um, I think this is a good role for her because I want to see more of her in these type of roles and expand. Um, she was also like a negotiator of it all too. Um, yeah, sometimes I know you said like her mom and her sister was her village, but sometimes, that's why you said therapy is important. 'Cause sometimes you just need that outside person outside of your family, friends, um, to kind of help you look outside and connect better that way. Um, and she didn't have a therapist, but that was as close as she was gonna get in that moment. She just needed somebody to listen to her and hear her, and she needed time to stop for her because she was so much on go 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 mode after that she needed someone to sit her down and really listen to her. And that's what I think I took from the movie. Just sit down and just listen to people. Um, the hard conversations, especially now in this time, I don't want to hear these things on the news and all that, but it's important to stay informed, to know what's going on, to know how to move forward and move ahead. And I think this was a good movie in a it dropped at a perfect time for people to kind of look back like what are you going to do in a time of crisis, and how are you going to respond? And it's easy to look back and judge someone and how they should have did it, but look at this as a play, and as a lesson that you can always make a better decision, But to seek help when things get hard, I think that was another good lesson too. That you don't have to grind it out all on your own, and you have to trust somebody, you know. Um, but any last thoughts on the film? And what would you
Hmm.
rate it?
Wow, toughie. Uh, on what scale? 1 through 10 or 1 through 5?
1 through 10.
Hmm. That's a tough one because I don't know if this is a film I would actually watch again. And it's not because it's bad. It's a actual good film, I thought. It's just too much where it's like one time's enough for me. You know, can't watch it in the mouth. But I would say this is I would give it an 8 because the twist was good. Um the twist was good about because he does do twists, but this was a twist you didn't really see coming. There was like two twists that was really big in the movie. Um so it was about reality, but it was also about your mind as well, and how you can trick your mind into believing anything. So she was just going about her day as if it was normal. She wanted it to be normal, but it wasn't. And so therapy is important, having a village is important. But also, I thought like usually people after like tragedy, they don't go to work the next day. That's what I thought. At least I would call in like, but yeah.
Yeah, yes. Thanks again for joining me on discussing the film. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Let us know your thoughts on the film, your favorite parts. And do y'all want to see more films like this? Like, yeah, I would give it around an 8, between 7 and 9. Okay, because y'all know Tiana Taylor, in my eyes, is kind of a goat right now because, well, she's always been a goat. She sings, dance, act, you know what I mean, and
Correct.
direct. And so I was just glad to see her in the film. And it's like, who would have thought like you would see TarajiPHenson, Sherry Shepherd, Tiana Taylor in a film together? So I like how they dabble in different different actors and actresses. So I do think it was kind of like a tough movie to watch, but so is Set It Off. So is all these other films. I tried watching that one, Havoc. I'm like, is way too much. That is way
Oh,
too
I
much.
love that action. Yo, if Tyler Perry do an action movie, action?
Mm, mm, hmm. I feel
Come
like he
on,
was
Tyler
just in
Perry.
something, but he was like he was in The Cut. I forgot what film that was. I was like, Tyler
Who?
Perry's in this movie? He was in some film and he was low key
Oh,
the boss. I
was it like
forgot.
a comedy on Netflix?
No, it was a
Oh,
serious movie, and I was like, "What?" Don't remember the film anyway. But yeah, I do
oh.
want to see more films. I do like the shows like Forever. If he did something like that, but a movie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Think
know.
outside the box.
Do more church stuff. That's
Oh
how
yeah,
I
church movie,
heard
a
about them in the
musical.
first place. We used to get them. I don't know how we got them, but it was like bootleg DVDs of Medea and so, and they always had some type of gospel, something, some church, something. So that would be dope to see. But
I've
yeah,
heard
oh,
this for the longest.
mm,
Sister Act. I heard
oh
Whoopi
yeah,
and Tyler Perry supposed to be working on that. When is
mm-hmm,
it? You
right.
did this in 4 days, Tyler Perry. When is it another Sister Act coming?
Well, last year, well, I don't know when Color Purple came out, but weren't
They've
they
been talking
competing
about
with Wicked and the Chocolate Factory and I don't know when the Color Purple came out. Did the Color Purple come out last year or the year before?
it came out. It came out like, was it December?
Mm,
Was it 2023?
maybe,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. What the color purple did not beat Wicked or the Chocolate Factory. It didn't hit the
Yeah.
same.
Mm,
But
yeah.
what can
So hopefully we get a sister act this winter. But I
yeah
know
20.
Wicked's coming. Yeah. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Go over to I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. And we'll see y'all soon. Peace.